Hi, Stefan Kesting from GrappleArts.com. There's a lot of concern out there, and I'm getting a lot of questions about the upcoming zombie apocalypse. There have been a lot of little outbreaks all over the place, some of which have been captured on film. Maybe you've seen them. And there are some people out there who are telling you that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and grappling in general will be useless against zombies. And I'm here to tell you that that is the opinion of uninformed and untrained people. And when you look into it, the people telling you that usually have an agenda. They want to sell you some flamethrowers. They have stocks in an arms company. They have a friend of theirs who's got a bunch of vintage Soviet combat helicopters in his backyard that he wants to sell you. So of course, they're fear-mongering. Whereas in fact, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is a very, very useful tool to use against zombies in the right situation. Now, of course, if you can get your hands on weapons, that's a good thing. Guns, lots of guns. You want to start with shotguns and rifles and handguns. You want edged weapons like swords and axes and cleavers. You want blunt weapons like sticks and tonfas and baseball bats and bokken. You want grenades if you have them, flamethrowers, you know, the usual. But what if the zombie apocalypse has just started? You're coming home from jiu-jitsu class and you see somebody shambling down the street. Maybe it's just started and you don't have your flamethrower with you right then. Or maybe you're even in jiu-jitsu class. You're sparring with a guy, you think he's hungover, but he's actually converting into the zombie right there in front of you. What are you to do then? Now, to be fair, a lot of the standard jiu-jitsu techniques, the submissions, don't really work against zombies. For one, they've got a very, very, very high pain tolerance. Secondly, they're dead. So cutting off the blood to the neck doesn't really work that well. And a lot of the standard submissions will result in you getting bitten. The armbar, they'll bite you. The kimura, they'll bite you. The triangle choke, they'll bite you. Ace cranks, they'll bite you. Knee bar, they'll bite. This is the zombie's primary weapon, is to bite you. They want to bite you either to eat you, or depending on the kind of zombie, they want to convert you into a zombie as well. So you got to keep your distance from the mouth as far as you can. Another thing, pulling guard. Generally, you don't want to pull closed guard on a zombie. This is a bad idea if the teeth come much, much, much too close to bits that they can bite. But say you're running away from a zombie and you slip and fall. Or say the zombie pushes you over and you're on your back. What are you going to do? I like the long-range open guard. First of all, your feet do have armor. They have shoes. It's hard for a zombie to bite through. And you can always kick. Now, nobody ever said that fighting zombies empty-handed is safe. I've got to acknowledge that right off the bat. But this is maybe your best chance here. You just have to be super aware of the bite. You can control the hands. And then when he does go for the bite, you can maybe push him away and kick. Another good option, and this is underappreciated, I think, is X-guard. If you can get a zombie in X-guard, unless it's an extremely flexible zombie, it's pretty hard for them to bite you, right? The teeth are far away, and I can control the zombie fairly well. Now, I might have to make an evaluation here. How fast can this zombie run? Because if I can sweep the zombie, and now I can run, that's a good thing. Don't make the mistake of getting on top of the zombie. A very, very common mistake with jiu-jitsu people. And the first mistake with the X-guard sweep is to get caught in a triangle. That's not so much an issue. But another is to pass the guard and stabilize the position. Of course, I'm giving him access to my shoulder, bad idea. So once you've swept your zombie opponent, you've got a choice to make. Do you think that you can run faster than this zombie? Is it a slow, shambling, Dawn of the Dead style zombie? In that case, running is probably a good idea. Is it a super fast World War Z style zombie? Well, then you've got a more difficult thing. If I get up and run, he might catch me. So now, hopefully I'm wearing heavy duty boots, construction boots or steel toe boots or cowboy boots. At this point, you stomp. You pretend you're in the old Pride days and you just stomp the head and don't stop. You're in a tough place if you're wearing Crocs because that's not going to give you the percussive impact to destroy the brain case, which is really an essential part of fighting zombies. So at that point, you might take your chances with running, and hopefully you've been doing your conditioning. I always go on and on about conditioning. Running away from zombies is an important side benefit of doing your road work and doing your sprint work. Another aspect of grappling in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is the whole grip fighting and pummeling, controlling the upper body and your opponent's limbs. And you'll see why this is important. Let's say that this zombie, either Richie's had a really late night or he's turned into a zombie. I'm not taking any chances. Either way, I'm going to get past him and out the door. Maybe my jacked up, giant, ridiculously overpowered F-150 crew cab dually truck is there with all the guns in the gun rack, and I got to get to it. Now, he's in between me and my guns, and me and my truck, where I'm going to head off into the desert and watch out for those ambushes in the gas stations. The gas stations in the middle of the desert are always good ambush sites. Now, we're here. If he's a slow, shambling zombie, which we'll do initially, he's going to come at me, usually with his arms straight. The goal is to grab me and bite. Arr. The arm drag is your ace in a hole here. There's two ways to do the arm drag. One is to parry the arm down, the other is to parry the arm out. This is more, the second is like the wax on, wax off, and the first was, I forget what the Karate Kid was, the painting. It's like the downward painting. So I parry it down, and I come up, and I grab behind the elbow, or behind the armpit. Doesn't much matter. Zombies are pretty stiff-armed, so really as long as you get any purchase, it's good. Now I'm going to pull as hard as I can, him past me, and I take off that way. One caveat, if he's a really decomposing, decayed zombie, I may end up with his arm in my hand, which isn't a bad thing because it's an improvised weapon as well, and I can use that to keep my distance from him. That's the downward parry or the painting. The other is the wax on, wax off. As he comes in, I'm going to parry outwards, get that grip, and again, I'm going to yank as hard as I can him past me, and I go. Now, there are slow, shambling zombies, and there are super, very, very fast zombies. And you have to make your decisions based on that. Also, your training is important. If he's a slow zombie, just watching this video may be enough to save your life. You may be able to remember to do this. If he's a super fast zombie come flying at you, well, hopefully you've done some training and gotten some repetitions in to get this fast enough to redirect him. Also, if he's a super fast zombie, he may be able to run faster than me. So I may have no choice but to stay there and engage him. So we're here, he's coming running in, I've got his back. Now, I'm going to get a rear bear hug on him, either here or through the legs, and you'll see that in a second. This is actually a fairly safe position. It's hard for him to bite me, and that's the main thing. I'm going to get scratched. Usually that's not infectious, and I can lift him up. Now, what do I do here? If I've got a good suplex, I can suplex him backwards onto his head, hopefully destroy the brain case. If I'm close to the edge of a building, or there's a furnace nearby, I can carry him over and put him over the edge of the building or into the furnace. If you don't have those options, here's a poor man's horizontal suplex. We're here, I'm going to come through the legs, I'm going to link my hands and pick him up. This may seem hard to do, but believe me, when you've got the adrenaline going in a zombie apocalypse, you'll be able to do this to a much bigger zombie. Now you look for a wall, and you repeatedly bash that zombie's head against the wall until you've achieved your objective, which is destruction of the zombie, and now you can make your escape. So I hope these zombie apocalypse survival tips give you some good food for thought. Remember, your goal is not to submit the zombie, not to pin it, not to win by an advantage. Your goal is to make your escape, get to your safe house, get to your arsenal, and get in your giant vehicle to begin your long and hazardous journey to the safe zone. This is Stefan Kesting from GrappleArts.com wishing you good luck and happy hunting in the zombie apocalypse. Ah!